So this is the 2018 Promaster, the 2500 159-inch wheel base. It's kind of like the mid-size Promaster. I like it a lot. It gives me plenty of room. It doesn't give me more room than I need, and I can stand up in it, which is really nice. A couple things that we did with this van before we put windows and kind of built it out was to take it and test it as a plain cargo van. So we would basically go camping, we'd inflate a mattress in the back and kind of envision where things might be necessary for this to work. The first thing we noticed on the outside of the van was that the lighting, the lights are very high, and that's fine and dandy on the highway and in neighborhoods when you're going straight forward. But when it's a dark campground and you're trying to navigate and you've never been there before at night, which happened in Kentucky, there was a problem. And so the first thing we did was put exterior lights on the van. There's some side lights here, so when I hit a button, I can actually see on an angle, which gives me more of a safe type of driving experience, I guess you'd say. Something that is kind of silly, but I can tell you I've never hit a deer. These little deer whistles, I've never had a vehicle that I've not had these little deer whistles on. They make a noise when you're traveling, and I'll kind of demonstrate that. And apparently deer don't like being whistled at. They feel it's a cat call. That's just a joke. But I've never hit a deer, so I'm saying that these things work. They're pretty cheap. You can get them at like AutoZone for probably $5 to $7. They sell a pair. Work. I've got mud flaps just to keep dirt low. I've put on the running boards on each side, which is really helpful. I also built this little step. This is almost like a very tiny, small porch. Got security cameras, which if you're watching this video, now you'll know that the secret is they're fake. But I'm from Miami, and why not? So moving around to the back of the van. So the back of the van, I basically don't like being in the van and not being able to have an emergency exit. And so I've done a couple things where I've fashioned basically cord to things like the handle. So if I'm sleeping in the bed, there's always a handle towards my feet. So if something happens, and God forbid there's a fire or I can't get out that end, I can always pull that emergency ripcord. One thing that was a problem was having the hitch and the bike carrier directly on the van, and so I found this contraption which allows me to kind of swing out the bikes, and when the bikes swing out, I can open the doors almost completely, which is really nice, and it allows me to get different types of things out of the garage, which is the portion under the bed. Something to do with old campaign signs. Everything in the van has been reused. Underneath the bed is the storage area that everybody uses. There's nothing new here. I've built out some shelving. I have basically things that I carry in it all the time, which are, you know, kitchen items, everything from salt and pepper to the stoves. I had these made. These are just foam. It was left over from the bench seat inside, and there was a gap between the door and the bed, and the cold air will make it too cold up top if you're in really cold weather. So I had these made. They're basically a nice way. They fit against the bed, the mattress, and they sandwich between the mattress and the doors. And so they create a nice seal. They're also soft, and it makes sleeping a little easier. Sometimes you can use these as a pillow, actually. So obviously when you have a van of this sort, you have all kind of nonsense in terms of stickers, and there's some neat places that we've been. If I haven't reminded you, make sure that you like and subscribe when you get a chance to Wild Journeys on YouTube. This sticker is the best. It's called Little Lazy. It's a it's a sloth. You know, sloths are a little lazy. So the table is actually a very old map. It's probably 50 years old, and I decided I'd cut it out in the shape of the state of Florida. And so it's kind of neat, and when we're in one place for a while, I'll set it up, and it really makes sitting around the van a lot easier. But it does make things a little more comfortable. The front area of the Promaster is pretty much stock. The only things that are different are my light switch, which controls all those exterior lights, the fog lights, the rear lights. Of course, I did change out the stereo, and I went with a Kenwood. That replaces the factory stereo, and it allows me to have satellite navigation, and I can really have a backup when connectivity on my phone's no good. The seats were stock seats. I went ahead and put them on swivels, so that opens it up a great deal in here. It really adds a tremendous amount of space. One thing that I do at night, usually, if I don't put up the blinds and the blackout material, which is basically Reflectix, and the potato sacks, the canvas bags, which I think have a nice feel. I also put up a curtain, and the curtain fits on simple hooks that I screwed into the wood. All the wood in the van is from my dad's barn, other than the roof. It's all cypress and it's all cedar, and so I've had some fun with that. I'm not a craftsman at all, but I think if you look at this, you could argue I might be able to study it and do a little bit better, but it was fun to do, and it was cheap, which is really, really important. A lot of the vans don't have that are converted are bench seats. Karen and I decided that we needed a bench seat. We needed a place to sit down that wasn't tight, and it does give us a lot of room to either sit and relax. You can get dressed there, you can put things there. You know, if you're getting dressed in the morning and you want to lay things out, a lot of times I'll use my camera equipment, and with the seat belts that I put in, I can tie those in so they're not, while we're driving, potentially moving around, and so that works out well. The shelving on the van, throughout the van, is a lot of the same material that I used. It's all cypress and or cedar, and I left it rough. So basically when I'm traveling, I've never had anything fall out, believe it or not. That rough cut just kind of keeps everything tucked in, which is nice. The countertop, it's a really great, useful thing to have. I can write on it. I obviously can make coffee, I can run my water, I can brush my teeth. With a hidden sink, I have more area to do things. A lot of times you're brushing your teeth or somebody's using a blow dryer. The mirrors are always really, really helpful. And so, you know, I put my contacts in. I'm not so good at it where I can't use a mirror. The mirrors are really, really helpful. And, you know, you can get these online, Amazon, wherever. I have a lot of temperature gauges in here. I like to know exactly what's going on in terms of temperature inside and outside. And I also carry bear spray. And the bear spray is helpful not only for bears, but the human variety of pests that I don't want to run into. Costway makes a little refrigerator and freezer. I've used it for both. It fits right there perfectly. It doesn't move around. There's another one of my handy handles. Basically, I just turn it this way. It's got an economic setting, so it's not drawing down your battery. And it's basically a cooler, but it also freezes. I've got a carbon monoxide meter. I've got two smoke detectors because I really don't want to die in this thing. And next to the shelving is the bed. The bed is memory foam. It's a full-size mattress. It is so comfortable. It's great during the summer. It's more wonderful during the winter. It really keeps your warmth. But it is wonderful, and it is so warm. It's fantastic. A couple things that I've done is weatherized the windows on each side of the bed, and I came up with a way to do that that fits over those windows. Those windows allow a lot of cold air to come in. If you have a van, you can do neat things with corrugated political signs. That's what's sandwiched in between the Reflectix and the outdoor carpet. And so it is comfortable inside, but it really actually does a great job keeping cold air from kind of coming into the van. And it fits perfect. I've actually got a lip here, so it fits over the wood. This actually kind of fits into the window frame, and it stays perfect. So I generally just keep that up now all the time. In the Orlando area, there's a place called Ollie's, and I was walking through. Their thing is they sell like really great brand name type things cheap, and they do. And I was able to actually pick up a remote control. This thing was like maybe $10, and it gave me 3 lights. And so one of the lights is right here. Hold it. It turns on, and at night, if I don't want to wake somebody up, or I'm trying just not to wake up myself, I can hit the light, but then I can turn it red or whatever color I want. It's pretty cool. And what I've done, I've mounted it over places that I've noticed in the van that I frequent if I get up at night or if I'm trying to get to bed. One of them is above the coffee maker and the sink. The other is above the bench. And the other one is above the passenger seat in the van. And they're all really quite helpful, and I can turn them all on and off from where I'm at. If I'm laying down, if I'm in the driver's seat, and they are really kind of a neat little tool to have. They kind of supplement the lighting system that I have in here. They're the recessed LEDs, which are sometimes just too bright. Even on the minimal setting, LEDs are just so hot in terms of the white light. So these kind of soften things up, and you know, they don't wake people up and disturb people either. That's for you, Karen.